here.
All right, and we're live. Woo-hoo! 90 days. 90 days shutdown. YouTube, I think, is a little extensive on that. I think 30 days would be good. You know, 90 days. This thing. Ooh,
They supposed to
man.
change the rules.
Oh, is it changed now?
Yeah, supposedly now you get like a warning, and then they block you for like 30 days, and then it's like you get like a three strike, and then I guess after like the third one, then they'll actually, instead of banning you for 90, I guess after you get past the 90, you screw up again, and like within a short amount of time, they'll actually close your channel down.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I
Why
think I
don't
saw
you?
something
I
like
mean,
that.
all I did was play a song. I mean, that's ridiculous. They cut it. They cut me down halfway through the song. Shut my channel down halfway through the song, and then put me in 90-day timeout without no warning. Just boom, done. Like,
Oh, wow, you were actually live streaming?
I was
Yeah.
live streaming, and you know how I usually
Huh?
start out my stream sometimes by playing a song, right? I play the song. I do it all. I've done it 100 times. Play the song halfway through the song, boom, stream down, shut down, timed out 90 days. Copyright strike. I'm like, so
Yeah.
whatever song I was playing, the guy was listening to my little channel, and I don't get it. I don't know how that works, but
I blame
living there.
Lars. I blame Lars Ulrich from Metallica for all that, because that probably all started with the
Right? It was probably actually him in the room listening and like with the controls there to
Oh,
shut
he
your
Right.
probably
stream down. I bet it was him personally that did it.
he probably threw such a fit about it, and YouTube now had to incorporate those rules because of him and other people.
Right. Yeah. So,
Back in the saddle.
back in the saddle, we got
That's
Prime
awesome.
here, and we got Stone Bender. What are we calling you now today? What's today? Darkstone still. All right.
Yeah, I'm still stuck with it, I think, for
I thought
I
I
don't know.
seen you
I gotta
change
recheck.
Stonebender at one time. No?
Oh, you talking about all one word?
No, but I thought you had changed it back from Darkstone to Stonebender, and then it went back to Dark. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping out. I don't know.
No, not that I know of.
Huh? You might have been having a flip flop moment there, brother.
You know what?
Yep.
I've had actually quite a few personal ones lately that trip me out. I mean, I just had one tonight. In the front yard, there's a little baby tree, and I don't know, it's probably 3 feet tall, baby, and it's sprouting leaves, and it had the little thing still, a little tag still on it from the store of what it was, right? And then the landlord did all the yard work and everything, and went out there Sunday, and I'm like, oh, she finally cut that little thing off. It's not there. Because I always kept saying, oh, one of these days I'm going to go read and see what kind of tree this is. And I'm like, no, it's gone. I just went out there and I'm looking. I'm like, now it's back. Now it's back.
Wow.
Back
Okay.
again. That's kind of strange.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just those little things like make you go, was I not paying that much attention Sunday to see that it was still there? I mean, it's a big old white tag and a little tiny tree. How do you miss it? I don't know. I missed it, apparently.
And it's annoying too, because you're not you start to question yourself, and that's the part I hate the most
Right?
about when things happen, because then you got to sit there and literally go, well, wait a minute, maybe I just walk by it? No, and you start to convince yourself, and I think that's what happens to a lot of people. I think honestly, people do see the Mandela effect all the time and changes, but I think it's the same thing. They just you convince yourself you didn't see it, or
Yeah. Um,
full well, like you said, this is in your front yard. This is something
right.
that you look at every day. So, but it's annoying. I noticed it. I get annoyed from that. It's no different than my story about when walking by Denny's every day, them having a sign that said Denny's parking was never there, and then it just one day was there. And I would walk by this place all the time, especially when I went to work and my wife going to work. And she's the one that brought it to my attention, to where I was like, "What?" And then then when I had to ask the waitress, and she turned around and was even surprised that it was there. And she said, she has smoke breaks and stands out there all the time. She never noticed it. To find out that it had always been there.
Really
strange, man. Yeah, I remember you talking about that. That's weird, man.
So what you have is like 3 of you that noticed it at least, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. That's what it was. That was at least what helped confirm that it wasn't there as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm convinced now that it appeared. It's one thing if it's yourself, and it's another thing though when you start getting a second one, and then you got a third person, then obviously,
right? Yeah, man.
It's been working there for a long time, and then her to ask her manager that question because it surprised her, and he's like, "Oh no, that's been there for a long, long time." And she just shrugs it off and walked away. But meanwhile, my wife and I are looking at each other like, "Nah, that wasn't there." I'm sorry, that wasn't there.
Yeah, I've never had any of those really, but I try to pay attention closer to things that are around me. I noticed in the last couple of years just to see, but I can't say I ever noticed anything like that or any kind of text changing or anything.
Cowboy, I got a good story for you, man. I was telling Stone about this earlier, and he said I should bring it up, so I'm gonna bring it up to you. So I know you're there in California. You've been to Universal, correct?
Down in LA, not in Florida.
Yeah. Well, they still have the same thing. You guys, every time around Halloween, do they have Halloween Horror Nights there as well?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So here in Florida, this is my junior year of high school. It's like the third one they started, and brand new stuff at the time. I'm at Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm walking around with my friends, and I know I've told you I'm 6'5", so I don't really get to a crowd. I'm usually over a crowd. So
this is great. All right, I just realized what. Go ahead.
I walked through one part of the park. Now, keep in mind, this is way before Mandela and way before a lot of things taking place. And I've never seen a celebrity in real life. This was the first time I ever saw one. The person I saw was Sinbad. And I got so excited, so starstruck for that. That's the first time I ever felt that, where I was trying to tell my friends that I'm with that, look, there's Sinbad. But all I could get out was his name, and I said it loud to try to get their attention. Well, Sinbad apparently is around 6'5" too. He stands around the same height. So out of this whole crowd of people, when I yelled out Sinbad, he looked right. What's up? I walked around the rest of the night feeling like I was, the big man on the whole entire place. Sinbad said what's up. But I find it funny and a little now strange because now that I'm thinking about it, you think about he's one of the Mandela effects with the whole Shazam thing. So now I'm wondering is it because I saw Sinbad and he said what's up to me? Have I been affected because of that?
Right.
We never actually all talked about that. We've all had that in common. We've all had Sinbad say what's up to us. Yeah. Everybody in the dance, everybody in every chat room, Scarab, and nobody's brought it up though. That's it, Crip. That's it, man.
That's the one, man. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting now that I happen to sit back and think about it. That was like, wow, yeah, that's right. I did at least see him, And I mean, we were about maybe 100 feet away from each other at the time. So I just thought that was interesting, especially now with the whole Shazam thing and that whole movie. I mean, personally, I can't relate to that. I don't remember ever hearing about a movie like that.
Okay, well, let me tie this in. Maybe there's something to that. So, right, Star Trek is a big one, right? Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when I was lived in Lake Tahoe, I met actually quite a few celebrities I won't go into, but I'll just use this one. Leonard Nimoy, he lived 2 blocks from me. My dad serviced his house. My dad owned an alarm company and serviced his house.
Gotcha.
And same in the grocery stores and things. Right? And there's a so and he's part of the Mandela effect, right? With the Star Trek thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something to that. I don't know.
It does make me wonder, man. I mean, it's one of those things that you wonder if maybe we've come in contact with people that have been affected in some way, like more majorly than obviously the standard everyday individual.
Right.
Because
isn't there a CCR song that's Mandela affected too? I think I saw somebody doing it, and I was kind of pissed that I wouldn't have known that because one of my good friends up there at the same place, his dad was the drummer, Doug Clifford, for CCR, and I'd go to their house. I'd play in up there in his studio and all his instruments, and he was always just Brent's dad. We'd hang out, movies, whatever. He was just my friend's dad, and he was a drummer from CCR. But I do believe that one of their songs is a Mandela Effect as well.
If so, I haven't heard. I mean, I'm sure it is. I wouldn't doubt it. I just myself.
Probably. Well, if you listen to Moneybags, I bet it is. Almost every song is.
No, I saw somebody do it. I don't know whose it was, but they talked about one of the CCR songs lyrics changed, and I was kind of frustrated because I was like, I kind of want to chime in, but man, yeah, I don't know all the lyrics to all the songs of theirs, so
yeah, if it was like a radio song, I would probably know it, but
yeah,
probably not too many B-sides, They're good though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those guys are good. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I met the only famous person I met was Bill Clinton when he was in office. Actually, I shook his hand.
Gotcha.
Right here in my town in New York, his wife was Hillary was having a fundraiser. At this like fancy golf club in my area. And he was coming by, it was like in the paper, he was going to come down Washington Avenue, and he stopped by the grade school. And I lived above the pizza shop across the street from the back of the grade school at that time. And, Washington Avenue is probably like 10 blocks long, or maybe more. And they had state troopers on every street intersecting into it. So you could just drive down. He drove down Washington with his convoy, and got out for a photo op because a class of kids came out of the school that they think they arranged it ahead of time or whatever with the principal, And I flocked over to him with a bunch of little old ladies. They flocked over to him. I was in the midst of them. And shook his hand, but he's not Mandela affected, so I guess that doesn't count. He sure did feel like a robotoid, though, that handshake.
Well, he might not be Mandela affected, but I guarantee he knows what it is. Right?
Yeah.
Make no mistake about that.
I would have been worried about where his hands had been personally. Now, what we know about old Bill now.
Wait, I missed what you said.
But I mean, if you want to tie that all in, hey, you had contact with, somebody that I'm sure there's got to be some effect about Clinton. There's got it. There's got to be something other. But
there was one about Hillary with the double L.
Well, there you go. So that ties in, right? Because Leonard Nimoy didn't say "beam me up," but he was part of Star Trek. So. Right?
Yeah,
right, man.
That's like the next generation with the whole Picard and the crystal. He didn't have no crystal, man. Look, not only did I own the box set of the DVD of the entire season and watch that, all the time, I got my grandfather into it because he was original. He loved the original. So me and him would sit there and watch every time it came on BBC or any of these other channels where they'd replay it. We'd watch it together. And that crystal didn't exist. I'm sorry. I'm a firm believer it never existed at all.
What is that crystal thing? He was in Picard, The Next Generation. Picard played with a crystal or something.
Yeah, I mean, he'd always have. I mean, whenever Picard would talk to people and he'd be in his ready room is what they called it. You know, he'd always have a tablet. You know, basically it was a tablet like he's reading over a report, and he would talk to him. And that's what he would hold it, and he'd put it down on the desk. He never walked around like a fidget spinner with a freaking crystal in his hand. And now, if you look at it, that's what it's showing. I know Suso did the video on it about a year ago, talking about it, and that blew my mind because I agree. No, there's no way. You know, I mean, I knew all the characters well, very well. You know, because that was just one of my favorite shows to watch. I mean, dude, heck, I went to an elementary school here in Florida called Enterprise Elementary. So I even remember when they named the shuttle Enterprise after the show. You know, it's one of those things that it's like Star Trek was always a big part of my life. I was a Trekkie growing up. My uncle was big into Star Trek. And nowhere was there a crystal. I mean, come on now. It's like I would have seen these being sold.
That's weird, man.
They're now being sold, but they weren't then. So why is it now all of a sudden an item as far as a collector's item? You know, I mean, dude, they sell everything. Phasers, outfits, the freaking, you know, the badges that they use for the comms. You name it. My uncle's even got a replica from the movie of the original, from the TV show of the comm. You know, the little flip one that became a flip phone. But yeah, this crystal didn't exist. I'm sorry.
You know, I always find it funny with the Mandela effect on things like the crystal and different Mandela effects are the people that always remember it that way. Like, I could deal with the people that are like, get the line wrong and then they laugh it off and they're like, whatever, I don't care. I get it if they see it wrong. I trip out more on the people that only remember the crystal or only remember a line in the movie that way or only remember a logo that way. That's kind of where I trip out. Like, how could they always remember it wrong, you know, differently if so many of us see it differently? So I think that getting into that part of it, I think that's a good segue to kind of let everybody know about what we're going to do. I don't know about Prime U. I know that we talked a little bit, Stone, about what we're going to be doing and how I think that kind of ties in with the Mandela effect. So we're going to do a series, the three of us, on one series is going to be on the Gateway Project. And so we're going to be doing that once a week. And the Gateway Project is, well, I don't even want to say it. We're going to just say, we're going to leave you all hanging on it. You can Google it. And then we're also going to do one a week on Sasquatch/aliens. We're going to just do a series on both of those and kind of dive into it. The Gateway Project is going to be a little bit more in depth, more off of a document and research. And so, yeah, we're going to start doing that once a week, each of them, one night, separately, differently. And it should be interesting. Should be fun. But I really do think that all of these things, you know, part of the Gateway Project, the Philadelphia effect, all these things, I think they all play a role into the Mandela effect, because what it really comes down to is memory, right? And that's what all these things really talk about.
Well, but remember, it's part memory. The other part is all the weird, strange animals that are appearing. Remember that?
Sure. I mean, so the other part of it's also like physical things that can change, like the transformation of physical matter, because, you know, a lot of these books that have been Mandela affected or people's names, you know, you look back at the book and that's, you know, that speaks to the holographic universe and what this, I don't want to talk too much about that Gateway Project stuff yet, but, you know, what they're talking about and what the system is kind of pushing, and what, a lot of that is there's a lot of leaning in the Mandela effect towards that same thing with multiple realities and everything. Yeah, so at the same time, it's interesting. You got to stay vigilant on what the system's pushing and how they're pushing it. Is it something that is being pushed, or is just something that's coming out?
It's being pushed. The multiverse theory is definitely being pushed. Mm-hmm. I've seen commercials. Now I'm seeing it in movies. I'm seeing it in books. I'm seeing it. Even YouTube has a movie out called Earth 2, to where they're talking about that, where they're looking up in the sky and they're seeing some girl apparently. It's a story about a young girl that apparently gets into a car accident and kills somebody. They're communicating with another Earth because another Earth from an alternate dimension has moved into our dimension, and we can see them now. Like we're looking at the moon, you'll look it up and see another Earth. I saw that. That was out like 2 years ago.
Was that a movie or Netflix thing?
No, it was a YouTube original movie. YouTube's been trying to promote their own movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid sequel. They've been doing that. I caught that a long time ago. And I'm sorry, guys, but I'm still sticking with the possibility that, I find it really odd that where a lot of us remember where we were at in the universe as Sagittarius arm, that now scientists have come up and said there's a massive black hole there called Sagittarius A. And in my research, I found out that CERN was trying to create tiny black holes. I still believe that maybe they did it and they couldn't control it. And therefore, something massive maybe happened, and now we're here. Either that or we're in the end times, and this is basically like it said in Revelation about the gathering. Maybe that's why some people, like you said, Cowboy, trip you out, where they've seen it. They've always known about the crystal being there, as opposed to us that knows for a fact it wasn't there. It's the same like the biggest argument I've noticed is about the McDonald's or McDonald's. Now, I'm a McDonald's, and that resonates with me as on a personal level because I've actually worked for that company way back in the day. I was a morning cook. I'd come in the mornings and I'd do the breakfast and part of the lunch shift, and then I was gone. So it was always MAC. And I've argued with a lot of people about that, about not only Big Mac, but if you guys recall back in the early part of the 90s, McDonald's had another mascot after Ronald McDonald called Mac Tonight, which was the Moonhead. And he played piano, and it was like, it's Mac Tonight, that type of thing. If it was always Mick, then why call him Mac?
Yeah, I remember that guy, man. I forgot about how it relates to that.
It wasn't like a half a moon or crescent moon or something face with glasses.
The body.
Yeah, and it was kind of a play on Mac the Knife, that old 50s song, I think, or something.
Mm-hmm. They stopped doing it because apparently they modeled them after an actual person, and the family or the estate of that individual pretty much was suing them for
really
copyright infringement.
Well, like I said, I think that's multi-level. I don't think there's just one cause for it, because I think both of you guys point out, there's different levels of the Mandela effect, and therefore there's different ways of that Mandela effect happening. I don't think it's one thing. I think there's a multitude of different things that happen that create a multitude of different Mandela effects. And I think that's how deep it is.
Yeah, I believe. And again, we're all old enough now that we all remember what life was like before internet. And how much it's easier to communicate with one another now, and how we're able to, exchange information compared to what it used to. For all we know, this has always been going on, and we just now are at a stage and an age in our, process here on this planet that we're just able to now record it and talk about it and show it. But I have questioned it. Like today, I read an article that apparently there was an electric plane back in the 50s.
What?
An electric plane. No gas, electric. I read an article about it today.
Oh.
That was back in the
new one. Yeah, it's a new one for me, man.
Well, to me it's new too, but I got to at least look at it on the side of, well, maybe it was only a small amount of production. It didn't get off. Maybe they were, like the electric car. How long has it been around? When I did my YouTube video about that, finding out that we've had an electric car since the 1800s. I mean, if that was the case, I understand the gas industry pushing it out, but you remember before they was doing gasoline cars, one in particular, the car was a steam car. As a matter of fact, there's a company that people use now that's been Mandela Effect, Stanley Steemer. Well, what Stanley Steemer started off as was he built an automobile made out of steam. As a matter of fact, it sits over at the hotel in Colorado. At the one that they did the movie The Shining about. I can't remember the name right now, but I know it sits in the lobby there. So you see what I'm saying? I understand the gas company may be stomping out steam, but having electricity around and having electric cars, especially knowing that there was a company in Detroit called Detroit Electric that was building these cars, and they still were until about 2008. Why did Detroit go bankrupt like they have now? Why is that city completely dried up? It does not make sense to me. Other than it was a Mandela, it never existed, and it's now blipped into our reality. Just like with the Ford symbol. I'm sorry, but the curly Q, when I first saw it on the Ford emblem, I assumed straight up that was just a change that they did. Because I understand that companies do go through brand changing. But to find out that it's always been that way, that's what kind of brought me into the Mandela Effect to begin with, was that.
Yeah, the one for me was the VW, because not so much the Ford, because I always my friends all have their VW bugs, and they all lowered them. I'm 49, so I remember back then that was really cool to have a Volkswagen Bug. It was like the cool thing, right? And they had the Bugorama every year, right, with the models out there, and all the people, took up the whole area with all their tricked out little Volkswagen Bugs and everything. And so that was always stood out to me, like when the space between the V and W disappeared. The Ford one, I was never really into Ford. So that one to me is not something that stands out to me, but the VW one does, because, like everything in the Mandela world, if you're into it, you're into it. If you're not, you might not remember one way or the other. It doesn't mean anything, really. Exactly. I mean,
and just like you said, I had a best friend in high school that drove an 87 Ford 5.0 Mustang Fox body style. So Ford stuck out to me, just like Volkswagen did for you, was, I worked on Fords. I actually owned an Econoline van. So, it's the same thing. Like, I agree with you 100%. When you got those type of hardcore memories that you worked on, and you see the change, there's no denying it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
look at the Jaws movie. That's another one for me. So, put it this way. I don't go in the ocean. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared to death because of Jaws. That movie scared the crap out of me, man. And
the ocean, man.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies, and I'm addicted to great white sharks. I mean, when they have the Shark Week and everything, and all that is like totally into it, because that movie just scared the hell out of me. Like, what a way to go. And so, I loved that. Man, I must have seen that movie I don't know how many times. And so when that line changes in the movie, that is like a trigger for me. You know, unlike maybe like Sex and the City. I never watched this show, so I can't say one way or the other, right?
Yeah, correct.
Doesn't mean that it has, you know, and so that's the weird thing. I think this is where it ties into where people have seen the shows. Maybe they've always watched Sex in the City and remember it as the wrong way their whole time. I think that's what trips me out. You know what I mean? But like, just like my coworkers, I hear them talking, and they don't even know about the Mandela effect, and they're like, "We're gonna need a bigger boat," you know. They're making comments like that, and I'm like, "Wait a second, is that what the line says?" Yeah, you know, he's a little older than me. I'm like, "Oh, well, that actually not what it said."
Yeah.
You know?
And there's even residue. Like you know, I'm big on my fish and all about my tanks. There's a show on Animal Planet called Tanked. They did a Shark Tank for Tracy Morgan. And when they were setting up the Shark Tank in his basement, they wanted to do the whole Jaws theme. So they were actually walking around the shop getting people to record, we're going to need a bigger boat, not your.
Wow.
So, you know, yeah. See, I mean, and I just hadn't been able to find it. Otherwise, I'd have done a video on it. You know, and it's like, you know, like the one video I did about Luke, I'm your father. You know, like you said, it's one thing when somebody maybe misremembers, but it's a whole nother thing when the actual actor that said the line and knew the line well spins around and, you know, says it the way that we remember it, but yet that's not the way it is. Because that, you know, I used a clip from 2.5 Men where he's walking with John Cryer out. It was an episode where Charlie thought he died, Charlie Sheen, and he's sitting with his brother Emilio Estevez, and they're talking. Or actually, it was when they wrote him off the show after he had his epic meltdown, the Tiger Blood thing, and it shows John Cryer walking with Edward James Olmos, and he's like, you know, I want to pay you to go ahead and record a message on my voice machine. And he's like, or not Edward James Olmos, sorry, James Earl Jones. And James Earl Jones looks at him and says, which do you want? This is CNN or Luke, I'm your father?
Oh, wow.
So yeah, there's at least like 2 or 3 quotes directly by James Earl Jones, right?
Yeah.
He says, Luke, I am your father.
Yeah.
On that other show, he's making the joke or whatever.
Yeah, because I've seen the residue where, you know, he's talking about in an interview where he said when he read the script and it says, Luke, I'm your father, he says he's lying. He thought when he read it that he was lying about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so, that one, I didn't know about that other one, though, Crip, that you were just talking about.
Yeah, it's one of my, I think I did like 3 months ago or so. It's in my video about it where I showed that. I played it a few times so everyone can hear it. Because that's exactly what he says. You know, is this CNN or Luke, I'm your father? And it was like,
I saw something. I can't remember where I seen it. Forgive me if it was somebody within our community that showed this, where they had the guy that filmed Star Wars,
George Lucas.
And he said that he doesn't remember CP3O having a silver leg. He said that he would have adjusted the lighting on his filming to make it stand out more, and that he doesn't ever remember. And he's the guy like in charge of filming it.
Yeah, exactly. And it flip flops like that. You know, like TNT and TBS. Sometimes they've been lately playing like all the movies back to back of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So I've sat down and watched it, and I've seen, you know, certain scenes where, he has a silver leg, and then you pop in the other scenes, he doesn't. So that one's a really weird one because the way it's set up, it's like half of the time it's there and that. Just like the mirror on the wall or magic mirror. I see that right now all the time. And people are still saying mirror. So how is it, you know, when you see articles, you see people, you see TV shows, you see all this different ways, and everyone's saying mirror. So you're really telling us that that many people are getting it wrong. And I'm sorry, I don't buy that. I can't buy that many people would do that, that you would forget that. Hey, Miss Honey Anna Maya, welcome.
Hey, honey.
Hey, what's up?
You made it.
I'm just now leaving Walmart. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Good. How's it going?
Hey, what'd I miss? Anything good?
No, nothing.
we're just talking Mandela as far as Mandela's and what brought us into the community and just certain residue. And I was on a rant at that moment just about how, like the magic mirror on the wall, mirror, and how, TVs and articles, and everyone's still saying mirror, mirror, but yet they don't want to say we're all misremembering, and I just don't buy it.
Yeah. As a collective, we're all retarded, right?
Yeah.
Nothing against the people that have mental disorders. I'm just stating.
No, I totally understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just,
Trip, I don't know. I think I said it in Mandela Mastermind's chat room one day. I'm driving to work and a car commercial comes on, right?
Yeah, you remember
commercial on the radio, right? A commercial, and it's supposed to be this DJ. It's the commercial is this guy. He's a DJ, and it's a caller call in and answer this question, and you win a prize or whatever it was, right? Yeah. And so the caller calls in, but has really crappy service. And her phone keeps breaking up every time he says the question and says fill in the blank, and she does. Her phone crackles, and he goes, "Okay, we're gonna have to move on to the next caller." The question was the Forrest Gump one, right? And they see how they throw this in your face. But here's the thing: they said it as my mom always said, life is like a, and then that was the blank part, fill in that part. But they said it as is. So it wasn't fill in the is or the was. They stated it. Now, here's the thing. If you're paying a company to develop a commercial for your company where you're going to pay money to advertise it on a radio station, don't you think you should know what the actual line is?
Exactly.
That's what's on my mind.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, no, you don't want to know. I want to know when the hell did Jiffy peanut butter change? Because it was always Jiffy for me.
I don't know, because that one was it was always Jiffy for me as well.
Yeah, well, I remember. I seem to recall, like in the '80s, looking at it and seeing it as Jif, and thinking, well, that's just not right.
That's the one that I actually remember both ways, and there's not too many of those that I kind of have memories of. But I remember Jiffy, and I remember Jif. I remember Choosy Moms choose Jiffy, and I remember Choosy Moms choose Jif.
Right.
Which is weird because that's
That's what my mom bought. Yeah.
That's what I get.
Yeah, my mom always bought Jiffy peanut butter for me when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe Jiffy's trying to drum up some business by lending themselves to this Mandela effect, so people just talk about it more. And
I don't know.
It's free advertising, really. Companies, Ford, Chevrolet.
Yeah. Well, in my mind, I keep thinking maybe I'm trying to take the download because in my brain it got kind of foggy, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I got it confused with Skippy, Skippy peanut butter and Jif peanut butter. But no, my memory is Jiffy.
And see, and that's what we were talking about, honey. It was when it's one thing, if you look at something and maybe you weren't too sure, I can see it right now. But when you have a solid memory,
you know, because I grew up on that stuff. Yeah.
Like Cowboy was talking about the Volkswagen symbol, how that was one that changed for him because he had buddies that had Volkswagens, and they went around again.
I had a Volkswagen Scirocco back in the late '80s, right before my husband died, and that changed.
Yeah, and I agree because my mom, and I didn't even tell you guys this, but my mother used to actually not only own a Volkswagen Bug when I was little, but during my teenage years, she used to own. You guys remember the Volkswagen Rabbit? They call it the Cabriolet now, the
I had a
convertible.
rabbit as well. Yes,
Yeah.
I had a rabbit as well.
Yeah,
My buddy had a powder blue one.
I had a little red one.
So see, that's what I mean. When you got those type, when you know, you've been, then it's hard pressed for someone to try to convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
When I know for a fact, it was there, and you looked at it every day. You see it every day. And we were just done. Then we were also discussing about, Cowboy was mentioning how he trips out more of the people that just, they swear up and down. That's the way it's always been.
And y'all, some of these changes are just so damn retarded. Like Febreze. Come on. We never bought Febreze.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. Some of them don't make sense.
I don't know.
I mean, even to me, when like you were talking about earlier, Cowboy, was Sex and the City and Sex in the City.
Well, it don't make any sense, Sex and the City. It was Sex in the City because they were sluts.
And they were innocent.
No, well, a couple of them were. One of them was okay. I'll give other three a break. One of them was.
And then we were talking about McDonald's to McDonald's, and
McDonald's.
I was explaining that I worked for McDonald's for a year. I was the open cook for when they opened the store, and then like I said, I argue with a lot of people about that online in groups and that, because the biggest thing that no one can seem to respond when they want to argue the point of Mick is then why would it not only be the Big Mac?
The Big Mac, absolutely.
But like I brought up, remember back in the early 90s, McDonald's, the shy away for more of the adult crowd, and at night, they used to have the mascot Mac Tonight, the half crescent moon guy with the regular body.
I don't remember that.
You remember him?
I remember the Hamburglar.
It was during the early part of the 90s they used to do it. Yeah. It's Mac Tonight. And then they'd show,
Well, I remember the commercial. Okay, the commercial, yeah, but I'm thinking about a dude in a costume. So,
yeah.
Sorry.
He was in a costume. He had a suit on. I think he was playing piano.
Well, I remember the commercials with the crescent moon. Absolutely.
So that's my point. If it was Mick, why didn't they call him Mick Tonight?
Right. Well, listen to this. A lot of people remember the Chick-fil-A change, right? But they remember CHIC. I remember CHIK, as in the commercial Eat More Chicken with the cows and the big billboard that says CHIKN, which is like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Well, I'm a CHIC.
I found some proof for that, some residue. I showed Dan, but he just blew it off. Yeah. For the CHIK. Because he had already done it, it was old news or what have you. But I tried to tell him, well, mine's with a K, not with a C or a CK, Yeah,
well, and like I said, I mean, and for me, those, I have my grandmother's cousin actually owns the one at the Fashion Square Mall here in Orlando. He's franchise owns it. And so that's why, that sticks out more to me more than anything else, because I used to go and, whenever I was at the mall, that's the place you would go. Remember, before they even did the store, when Chick-fil-A was going to the mall.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's just everything's so weird.
Speaking of weird, I'm planning on April 17th, I'm going to be at Denver International Airport. So I'm planning to do a live stream when I get off the plane.
Cool. What are you going there for? I'm nosy. What are you going there for?
I'm moving back to Colorado.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to mute myself for a minute because I just got home and I got to unload my groceries and then I'll be back, okay?
All right.
Okay.
Hey, so I want to touch on the Big Mac and the Chick-fil-A. So I've never eaten a Chick-fil-A. So that one to me, I don't know. But McDonald's is big for me because, I remember as a young boy, my sister loved Taco Bell. I loved McDonald's. I loved the Big Mac and the fries and the orange drink. And I still to this day, right?
Yep.
So so my mom would have to go through McDonald's to get the Big Mac, and then go to drive through to Taco Bell for my sister. And I got to tell you, I always remember in my mind, I want the Big Mac, because that's like McDonald's. Like if you go to any hamburger place, whatever it is, and they have a hamburger place named after that place, you're thinking, that's got to be the top dog hamburger, right? And so I always remember, like, that's top dog hamburger. And I gotta say, I would think, like, why would they call it Big Mac if it's McDonald's? But I didn't. I always remember, like, McDonald's, I'm getting the Big Mac.
Yeah.
So that's Chick-fil-A. I can't tell you. I've never eaten there. So
yeah, we didn't have those in my area. Chick-fil-A's. I remember seeing some commercials, but it's definitely not, like other Mandela effects for me.
And that's what I'm saying, man. There's a lot I can look at and say, I don't know. If I didn't pay attention or care about it, it's the same thing. You go, well, maybe you're right, maybe not. Either way. But when you got those, like Cowboy, you said about knowing that you went there because you liked something, you liked it a lot. Then for someone to turn around and say, well, no, it's always, and that's another thing I hate is people that sit there and can positively agree with certain Mandela effects because obviously it affected them. But then the moment you say something else, I love it when they say, no, it's always been that way. No, it may have been always been that way for you.
Right.
But it's always that way for everybody.
I totally agree with you. That irritates me more than anything is that just because you don't see a change that somebody else does doesn't mean it didn't change.
Exactly.
And that's like that's a very big pet peeve of me within the Mandela Effect community is that if they don't see something you see. But on the other hand, you gotta also be very honest with people. Like if you don't remember Chick-fil-A one way or the other, don't make a comment. Just make a comment. Don't say it. Just say you don't know.
Yeah, or I'm no horse in this race. I don't like to use the term dog in the fight, but I just use like me. I don't have a horse in the race. Meaning I can't tell you. I mean, I don't know. So if you're saying it is, okay, maybe to my mind it's maybe it has, maybe it has. I can say it either way, and I leave those alone. But nowhere will I ever tell someone, no, it was always no. It may have been always that way for you. But like, I've said before, we're all in different parts of the country or world, depending on who you're speaking with. Everyone's living their day-to-day lives. You can't sit here and say 100% without a doubt, well, no, it's always been that way for everybody because you don't know. No one knows.
Right. I mean, we all get different information, and if it's something that they change, some kind of a frequency or some kind of a thing that's been induced in people over a period of time, like Cowboy was talking about the thing we all heard of with the fact that they can implant memories and take memories out.
Yeah, the gateway. Gotcha.
Then who's to say that like you were saying, Crypt, like it could be one way for somebody else and this way for this other person. So it's like you can't really argue about it if it's something that they we don't know who got what ultimately.
Exactly.
I talk about that, work it out by talking about it, really, but we're just a small percentage of the people that it's really affected, because I think that there's a lot of people that are affected by it. They just don't know anything about it and don't know to even look in that direction.
True.
Like if you had 1,000 people that had no idea what the Mandela effect was and we laid out a presentation for them, a lot of those people would be bugged out.
And And the funny thing I noticed too, like when we bring up NPCs and people that just don't see it, I honestly believe, and the reason why I say this is because in my own personal experience, I had a boss I worked for. I was having some medical issues, and she was really nice and actually taking me to doctor's appointments because I don't have a car. And she's an older lady. She was in her she's 50, and I'm 43, so she's got a few more years on me. So I started talking to her about some of the effects. Didn't tell her what it was, just ask questions. Like we're in the car, we're driving to an appointment, we got nothing else to talk about. So I started, just asking her questions like about the Volkswagen symbols. She mentioned, and when she talked, she'd tell me things that would make me prompt her, into a Mandela effect type questions. And, I'd have to tell her, well, you're wrong. Look it up. And she would. And then she'd be amazed. She'd look at me, all wide eyed, jaw literally hanging down, mouth gaping, like, yeah, sorry, we don't know what it is. And I finally explained it to her. It's called the Mandela effect, and as you see, this is what it's about. It's basically, there's certain things that a lot of us remember that's changed. We don't know why, we don't know how, but it has. And, there's things in history doing the same thing. Her actual rebuttal to me was, but I don't want my world to change. And, she's a very Christian lady. So that's when I always spin around with the response of, well, remember, like it says in the Bible, be in the world, but not of it. So I take that very seriously, as far as maybe that's why, myself, I don't know about everybody else, but at least in my own opinion, I feel like that's why, because I feel that's the way God's showing that the world is changing and that he can do it on a whim, and don't be of it, because it's either it's fake, it's a simulation, maybe they're putting it in our heads. I don't know. It's kind of the same thing with the whole globe flat earth debate. My viewpoint on that is, I don't know. I'm not there.
What's up, guys?
The bottom line is I still got to get up every day and I still got to live in it. Well, regardless of what it is, it's not going to change the fact that I got to go to work. I got to pay my bills. I got to live my life.
Yep.
I would love for you to do something for me, Prime, before you move. Even if you can kind of record it, go back to that place where that Denny's is. See if you can get the lady to talk about, she doesn't remember that Denny's there, and then go talk to the people that work at Denny's there and ask them how long they've been there and how long they worked there. Because that's a whole other realm to it. Like, it could be like the person next to it, that went out and had their smoke break every day and never realized there was a Denny's there. That's one thing. But what about the person that was like, what are you talking about? I've been working here for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole other realm to it, right?
Yeah, it could be. Yep. It's a good suggestion. I'll definitely hop on that before I go. I'll see if I can go over there and talk to them.
And that's crazy stuff.
What's going on, Floyd?
Floyd, man.
Going good, man.
Up, brother?
Got a job. I'm so excited.
Good for you, man.
Nice.
Yep.
When do you start, Floyd?
Good, man.
Thursday. Nice. I'm going to be having training. They're going to train me, see how good of a job I do, teach me how to do things right, because I'm new and, it's awesome. I'm very excited that I got a job. I was job hunting and I found Safeway. I was just thinking, hey, it would be awesome if I work at Safeway. That'd be pretty cool.
When they're in college,
I'm gonna be a courtesy clerk. Help out people, put their groceries to their car.
Cool, man.
Go to the can room and clean the cans and put the carts up back into the place and stuff and stock things, put things back on shelves where they belong.
Well, let me tell
That's
you,
what I'm going to be doing.
It's not easy to get into Safeway. I mean, it's really not.
It's not.
It's
No,
not.
it's not.
I mean, usually you have to know somebody or something. I mean, so yeah. Kudos to you for getting that. That's a great place to start.
I'm a lucky dude. Yeah. I'm a lucky dude, man.
Good for you, man. That's great to hear, man.
Yep.
Hey, how's it going, Darkstone?
Good, man.
My bro.
My brother with a job. Good for you, man. Really.
I'm very happy about it.
Nothing wrong with a little expendable income.
Yep.
Or income at all. We don't have Safeway around here.
You don't?
No.
Yeah, Safeway. There's not much Safeways
there might be
in America.
Some other part of the state, Not that I know of.
I forgot which states have Safeway. I know here in Oregon there's Safeway. California, Washington. Some of parts of Washington has Safeway.
Colorado has them. We actually have only one here in Altamont Springs. I was surprised to see it because I never seen it growing up. I didn't learn about Safeway till I moved out to Denver a long time ago. Is when I found out what Safeways were. And I think the time I knew about Safeway it was on Interspace. Do you guys remember that movie back in the 80s? Martin Short and Dennis Quaid, where he gets shrunk.
Yeah. Did they go in the guy's body or something, right?
Yeah. That's where Martin
submarine or something.
Safeway.
Yeah, it's a good job, man. Good for you.
I'm very happy about it. It's awesome. They do good pay too.
Yeah, they're union.
It's really good.
Retirement. Yeah, I mean, if you can make a career out of that, dude, seriously.
Oh yeah.
I'm
really proud for you, Floyd.
Hey, Honey Ann.
Hi. Did I tell y'all? Did I tell y'all I actually found something that Floyd hates? Because Floyd loves everything.
What? That's like that commercial. He loves everything. What?
Right. But did I tell y'all I actually found something that Floyd hates? And I quote. He said it on a live stream. I hate baseball. Because Eamon kept saying that Floyd looked like a professional baseball player. The only thing I've ever heard Floyd say he hated. I knew it was something. I had to go back and rewatch so I could bust it.
Hey, we got that in common, Floyd. We got that in common, man. I hate baseball too.
Yeah, I hate baseball. All you do is just get a baseball bat, get a tiny ball, and a pitcher has to throw the ball at you, and you got to try to hit it with a bat. Then you run in circles to three bases, and the fourth base is home. It's kind of boring because that's all baseball is.
I had rather watch bowling. I had rather watch bowling than baseball.
Bowling is awesome. Oh, that's a fun sport.
Well, if you're playing it, but
it seems like watching it. Yeah, watching it doesn't seem that appealing to me. But
doing it in real life is fun.
Bowling's like one of those things. Like somebody's every once in a while is like, "Hey, let's go bowling," and I don't think it's a good idea until I get to the bowling alley. And it's like, cool, all right, I'm bowling. All right. I never call anybody up and say, "Hey, let's go bowling."
Yeah.
Every couple of years, somebody goes bowling, and I reluctantly go, and then I actually have fun when I'm there.
My youngest son, he liked to go, and my oldest son, he was like, I ain't doing it. In fact, the first time we went was with my ex-girlfriend and her daughter, and me and my two boys. My oldest said, I'm just going to sit in the car. I ain't going. All right. So next time we went, he's like, I'll do it. He fell in love with it. I ended up buying him for Christmas a bowling ball and bowling shoes.
Playing Monte Carlo is fun too. The colored pins, trying to get the colored pins, and you make money out of it. You can make tons of money out of it. As many pins as you get the colored pins. It's fun.
That's cool, man. I didn't know they had variations.
Yep, bowling has that. It's really cool.
Well, we just got changed off the subject when Floyd came in. Naked bowling, Mike W says. I don't know about that.
Naked bowling.
Oh man.
It's like sitting waiting to happen.
Yeah, I don't know about naked bowling. There'll be too many balls.
I don't know. I think that may be a little painful for the dudes and the chicks.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, anyway, getting back to what you were saying though, Prime, on people's experiencing things and not experiencing them. I mean, I don't think there's a lot to that, because I mean, there's that app out there that can make you forget. I think I bring this up a lot because it really blows my mind. There's an app that can make you get a show, a specific show, so that you can watch it again for the same time. I think it has that technology, right? If it can make you forget you watched the show, well, what else is out there that can make you forget what? Now
the veil is opening up.
you might forget a show you watched, but does that mean that you watched it differently? There is actually technology out there where they can create movies, and that the ending is based on your feelings. So they did this. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Where they
that's
put these probes on your head, and they put these people in to watch a movie, and based off their emotions on how the movie was going, it directed it to an alternative ending of the movie.
Dude, that's some infrastructure of the Matrix right there, man.
Right?
It is.
That's important.
Yes, indeed.
I didn't know about.
And it's just like the whole point about people seeing the Mandela and don't. Another thing that comes to my mind is that, remember the phrase "beauty is in the eye of the beholder," and perception is based on the individual, on how you're receiving that data of information going through your eyeballs and your other senses, and how you're processing that.
You can be deceived as well.
People. I'm sorry?
I said you can be deceived as well with your eyes too,
Oh, yeah, definitely. Infallible. My grandfather even brought up one time, a long time ago, we were sitting down talking, and he mentioned about TV, and he says, have you ever looked up when the TV screen's on and it's all dark in the room? Have you ever looked at the ceiling? And I was like, no. He said, next time TV's on and you're in a dark room, look up. And he brought up the fact that why do we as human beings, like when Christmas comes around and you decorate a Christmas tree with all the blinking lights, why do we stare at it? Because we're mesmerized.
Exactly.
Oh, look at the pretty lights.
Looking at TV, it's the same thing. When you look up at the top, it flashes just like a Christmas tree would.
Well,
when did he tell you that? Was that a while ago?
Oh, he told me this when I was like 14.
Back in the early 90s. Back in the early 90s, my girl, I had one of my best friends. She was from Thailand, and she was dating this guy who went to Vietnam. And he used to swear to God. People called him crazy, but he was the most intelligent man I'd ever met. He used to swear to God back in the early 90s that when station identification would come on the TV, that they were literally watching you.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, why did they go from analog to digital?
Well, that's so they can weaponize everything. With the 5G, they're going to turn that stuff into a weapon.
Right. Hey, Floyd, are you chewing on some candy or something?
No, I'm not.
Who is that?
It's not me.
I have no idea.
Do you have your
Who's
headset?
chewing on a gobstopper right now?
I do, yes.
It sounds like I'm chewing on candy, but I'm not.
It sounds like somebody's chewing on a gobstopper or something.
It's not me.
That's funny.
What's going
Let me
on?
mute myself, make sure it's not my earring hitting my mic.
It actually sounds like I'm chewing something. That's funny.
Oh, it is you, honey.
It was.
I love gum.
Let me take my earrings off. my big hoops were pounding my mic. Okay, is that better?
Yeah, yeah.
I was moving around. I'm unpacking groceries.
Yep, that was it. Those hoop earrings.
Yep, and big old. Yeah, I was bouncing around, moving. Okay.
Yeah, so I think that we're going through some of these different, when we get into the gateway, and there's other things I have in my mind to go through down the road too. I think that putting them all together is going to really, I think the one thing that stands out most is Stone, and probably we were talking earlier about the people involved in it, right? And the history behind the people, and what they're doing is, when you see that and put it together, it's really mind blowing, because it's, when you come across people that can't even acknowledge the Mandela effect or anything like that. I mean, this is why they could put this stuff right out there in front of everybody's face, because it blows their mind. It's like, it's too much for them to even look into. Like, forget it. I don't want to know. Let me just keep doing what I'm doing and whatever. And yet here they are telling you and going into detail how they're doing it and what they're doing and how long they've been doing it. And nobody is like, oh, well, who cares? Why?
It doesn't affect their lives. That's why, man. You got to remember, we become a society of self-absorbed.
That's the biggest thing, is that actually does. That's the thing.
That could be the thing that scares some people away from it, is that they know that they've somehow, been affected. I mean, everybody's got that friend that, you show them a couple things and they see it, but they don't ever want to talk about it again. And they get a little bugged out by it, but it's not something they ever want to discuss,
They cut you off and thinks you're crazy now because you're talking about it, and they just don't want to see it.
Right, man. I've heard about that a lot, and I've experienced that myself. People, you have certain archetypes that I find that people in your personal life will fall into when it comes into the Mandela effect. It's just archetypal, really, man. And I've seen that people talk about it. You guys and other people, and that's a commonality. You got to look for the commonalities in this stuff. But yeah, that gateway stuff coming up, Cowboy, that we're all going to discuss, is the timing of that, I think, is important, because you have this kind of idea pushed on all fronts, and it's in television and commercials, like you were saying, Crip, and it's in the Mandela effect community, as far as a lot of people that think a certain way about what's going on, and it's in, it could be coming from this Gateway report too here, and it's coming from people like Elon Musk, and it's coming from bigger YouTube conspiracy guys that do sometimes talk about the Mandela effect, like real big ones and smaller ones.
Well, for me, Elon Musk was not on the radar until 2016. I had never heard of him before, ever.
I never really heard of him either.
I believe Elon Musk is a clone, dude. Like,
I don't know.
Underground clone factories made him.
For me, in 2016, he came on the scene, and he was just a little bitty, lowly ass solar panel guy. He was just selling solar panels. And then all of a sudden, boom, and then he was like almost bankrupt. And then he launches this stuff where he goes in and buys part of SpaceX, you know. And then I found out that his mom, Mae Musk, you know, I told y'all maybe. I found out that his mom is the daughter of a big Illuminati guy. She's a twin, and she was doing Charles Manson back in the day. She even went to visit Charles Manson in prison. And even though she was married and the kind of family he's in, his stepdad got his stepdaughter pregnant. Elon's stepdad got his stepdaughter pregnant. And Elon's mother, Mae, was seeing Charles Manson while he was in prison. And they were able to have what's it called, where they could have sex. She got pregnant. She got pregnant with Elon when she was seeing Charles Manson, even though she was married already.
Whoa,
that's sickening. That is sickening. That is disgusting, man.
Yeah,
that is horrible.
I went deep down that rabbit hole. He comes from a very sick family, guys. And get this dude that grew up with Elon Musk, and he also went to college with him. That dude swears he saw Elon Musk levitate.
I believe that.
Well, he can't levitate. He can't levitate his CGI spaceship, so at least he can
levitate his ass onto Mars. We'd be a lot happier without him.
You know, that's the thing too. Is what trips me out is people are like, they believe everything scientists say. You know, right? They just buy into it, right? Without proof, right? Without proof. The scientists told them they have a hard time believing in God without proof, but they could believe a scientist. Then on top of that, you have a scientist telling you lies like global Earth, flat Earth, dinosaurs. I mean, we go into a lot of things that they lie about.
Globe Earth came from evolution,
right?
Well, then, you have people. Go ahead.
Then you have scientists sitting here directly telling you the things they're doing at CERN, at this Gateway Project, the Philadelphia experiment, and these are scientists.
The Hadron Collider.
And people, the D-Wave computer, and what do the people do? They don't want to know. So how is that? They pick and choose what they want to believe what scientists say, and if it's too much for them, they don't want to know, right? Why is that? Why don't they want to? If the same scientist told you that you believe that NASA goes to space and landed on the moon, told you they just created the D-Wave computer in CERN, and they're bringing into another dimension things of unknown and all this. Why you're not going to believe that part of it? And the people are telling you we're just crazy. It ain't our words. That's their words.
Yeah.
Right.
Even funnier yet, evolution believes that we come from apes. And they can't even prove it. They can't prove it or anything.
They don't believe that. They don't believe that. They don't believe that. That's just a lie they're pushing on us. They don't believe that shit. They're just trying to dumb us down. Come on.
Yep, exactly. They just teach that crap.
That's right. They're trying to dumb down mankind, and they've done a damn good job of it.
Yep. It's really sad, too.
If they would have started telling people hundreds of years ago that people evolved from raccoons, I bet a lot of people today would believe that people evolved from raccoons.
Well, you know, there's something that's kind of controversial.
Look, we got eyes and a face.
We our entire life have been, as children, we were made to be afraid of the snake, of the serpent. And, you know, from one standpoint on that, if you think about it, we always thought that the Egyptians were worshiping the sun, when in actuality they were telling us that God was behind the sun. That's how you get to the wormhole. If you go in a wormhole, it's a short distance. The snake, however, is a long distance traveled, and we've been all, you know, thought to fear the snake, when in actuality, in some religions, the snake is just another gateway. You know, just another portal. You know, like I said, if you go through a wormhole, you're traveling through a short distance. If you go through what's they considered the snake, that would be a long distance travel. And so I believe in space. Oh. Absolutely.
I don't.
Yeah. You know, we're not the first people to come up and say we think the Earth is flat. I mean, they started doing that 500 years ago.
Yeah.
But they knew it.
Well, like I was
The
telling Floyd,
Incas. You know who the first astronauts were? The
yeah, they were the
ancient
Indians.
Incas.
Yeah, they
The
were the Indians.
Incas. They saw the Earth, and they even said the Earth is flat. They even said it,
Yeah.
and they saw it with their own two eyes. It's like, yeah, you should put two and two together to know that fact.
Well, I can't
That's
tell you
just
I'm
a
sold
fact.
on a flat Earth or a spherical Earth, but I can tell you, the way I
Mhm.
feel. If we have a flat Earth, then it's going to be two-dimensional, and you
No.
can't have an orange or an apple or a grape on a two-dimensional plane.
That's
You
not
know?
true.
Well, that's the thing that
That's
people, I think, confuse the flat Earth thing with is that, most flat Earthers, I would say, don't actually think it's two-dimensional.
It's
I don't know
not.
if that's a certain camp or not within flat Earth or not, or a misconception. But
well, my perception of this has been, guys. Listen, the flat Earther speaks with authority and he speaks with superiority, and yet while they're speaking in that manner, you've got the religious people laughing at them. I mean,
Exactly.
that's been my
Because it's the
experience.
truth, and the truth will always be laughed at. The Bible even says the truth is going to be laughed at in the end
Well, the
days.
thing about
And
it is, the flat Earth lacks credibility. It lacks credibility based on it's only theoretical. I mean, think about it. It's only theoretical. But we're not.
to me, it seems like a little more than that. I'm not totally sold flat or spherical, but
Yeah.
the one thing after a few years of research with the flat Earth and people talking about the globe and solar system is that I'm convinced of is that I got to say I'm totally convinced that it doesn't matter to me if it's flat or a sphere.
Me either.
But what I'm convinced of is that it's actually the center of the universe, and the sun and the moon are going around us. And
the Bible says
after you think that, after you realize that, like, that's your opinion after looking into it, as far as I'm concerned, for a few years, that's a big enough deal it doesn't matter if it's flat or a sphere.
Right.
I think personally
Moses
we're actually
was taken up into the heavens. Moses himself said he saw the earth as a sphere.
No, he didn't.
Yeah,
no, he
did.
Didn't. No, he did not. No, he
sure
did
he
not.
didn't say circle or something, or
well, he said
circle.
He said circular.
He
saw the circle. He saw the circumference of the earth. The circumference. He saw the circumference. That's what he said.
Circle.
Well,
when you translate it to Hebrew, it's circle. Circles are flat, I understand circles are flat, not 3D.
Okay, so
the ancient Greeks knew the difference between a circle and a sphere. For crying out loud!
Wasn't it the Greeks that mapped out the whole entire Earth and proved that it was round?
No, they did not prove it was round. That's a lie that schools teaches, and that's a lie. The Greeks were also flat earthers.
It was supposed to be Pythagoras came up with that.
So did the Hebrews. The Hebrews knew too.
Okay, well, here's my question to everybody.
Okay.
Whether it be flat, round, cube, triangle, and we find out the truth, what are we going to do with that information?
Well, like I said, I mean, what does it really matter? But a lot of people get really upset about it, and they say because they've been lied to or they've been deceived, But we've been lied to about everything, so what's the freaking difference?
Well, the bottom line is we still got to live on, regardless of what it is, we're still here. We got to get up every day. We still got to live our normal everyday lives.
There you go.
Yep.
That's why.
And the end of everything is still going to play out the same way. It's not going to change anything.
Exactly. At the end of the day, I mean, we can't get off it.
Yeah.
Well, I think here's the issue too, that with the flat Earth thing, and Floyd, you should pay attention to this too. Is you got to be careful about this. Is that what I find a lot of flat Earthers are doing are they're putting the Earth on a pedestal, the flat Earth, and it's almost becoming like you have to be real careful, man, because it's almost becoming like worshiping the creation.
Mm-hmm.
Again, yeah, I know.
Instead of the creator. So you do have to be careful with that whole debate. No matter what you believe,
Yeah.
You have to be careful with that, because that goes back to worshiping the creation, goes back to not paganism, but
people are busy. Busy worshiping the globe.
Theomonotism, is it called theomonotism?
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny that most of society's busy worshiping a globe.
Well, what's it called? What's it called when you worship nature? What's the name of the religion? Not paganism. There's a name for somebody who worships nature.
Well, there's Mother Earth, there's Mother Gaia, there's many Earth worship pagan religions.
It's like Theomonetism, something like that. The name of it's really funny.
Yeah, I can't think of it, but that's what I was.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I know what you mean, though. You know, to me, the God knowledge itself is awe. It's awe, and it's devastating. And we're not going to be able to move on to a new world until we shed our arrogant, foolish ways. You know, that period. We're going to have to wake up. Because we're arrogant and we're foolish to think that we're so special.
What Earth does people think the shape is? I mean, what shape does people think the Earth is? And most of people in this society today. I'm waiting for the answer. The word is globe.
I think it's
most of society believes the Earth is a globe.
Globe isn't even technically a shape.
No, for me, it's more spherical. It's more
a sphere.
Shape.
Yeah,
it's more oval.
And it's shown nowhere in the Bible. And people mistranslate the Bible and says, it says a globe right there. And when you actually translate it to the Hebrew text, it doesn't float in space. The Earth has foundation.
Well, I think
the Earth the Bible says the Earth has foundation.
Well, but the universe
First Samuel 2:8 says the Earth has pillars.
The universe
that the pillars are gods.
That would make it square. The four angels holding up the four pillars of the earth.
There's four angels that sit on the four ends of the earth. Enoch, the prophet Enoch, talked about it in his book called the Book of Enoch. He went to the ends of the earth.
Proof that Enoch built the pyramids. Did y'all know that?
What's that, Miss Sunny?
Know? Yes.
What's that?
That there is proof that Enoch built the pyramids, that Enoch showed the people how to build the pyramids, because Enoch walked with the gods or the angels, and they gave him knowledge. And when Enoch came down the last time to say goodbye to his multiple wives and his kids, he gave over 300 books to his son Methuselah. And that's why they're saying that in the chambers of the pyramids, if we search hard enough, we're going to find a library which contains all this knowledge from Enoch.
Speaking of the pyramids, they're promoting right now on the Discovery Channel, coming up on I think it's the 13th of April, supposedly they're going to be doing a live excavation of a tomb there.
April 13th is my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. Wow.
Early happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'll just say this, the whole debate on the flat earth globe thing.
Globe always loses to debates. It's so funny.
So here's the thing. As far as, when people say flat earth, no, it's not completely flat. No. But I do believe that it's not a spinning ball in space at all.
Exactly.
Why? I think that notion, you got to remember that Satan has been in control from the beginning. His plans today did not start in the 50s. They started way back when. And if you get people to believe that you're just nothing but a little tiny planet in this massive universe, instead of what the Bible says is you being stationary and the main focus, and everything revolves around what I created. Therefore, what you get is the opening mind with believing in what? The alien acceptance.
But in order for a cube, a skyscraper, a simple box, for it to exist, you have to be on a 3D plane, or a 3D, it has to be 3D, not 2D. And a flat earth
it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny how we can get a high-powered camera and go to the beach, and when a ship goes what you call the curvature, I've seen more. You know what I've done? Oh, do you know the definition of horizon? Flat plane to see in far distance. And guess what? Because I've witnessed it. And guess what? I actually done this before. You know what I did? I had a high-powered camera and zoomed the ship back into view, and I saw the ship back into view past what you guys call the curvature.
I went
Now,
on the
physics.
boardwalk in California with those microscopes.
A kindergartner can answer this question. Does curvature block view from far distance? A kindergartner would say yes, because it does. A kindergartner can answer this damn question. It's obvious that curvature can block from far distance, but you can get a high-powered camera and zoom the ship back into view. Come on.
Well, you can believe it's flat, or you can believe it's round. It's not
well, that's documents. That's documents.
No,
how can you?
But I'm just mentioning these things to you because that's what bothers me. You know,
this is how stubborn globe earthers are.
Well, I'm an Aries. I'm stubborn anyway.
Floyd. Hey, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Look, not everybody's there. You know, just like not everybody's where.
Well, I'm not saying that I don't believe it's true. I mean,
it's just amazing how you can do that. It's amazing how you can do that.
I'm bringing these things up to you because this is what bothers me about the flat Earth theory.
Well, it's not really a theory. It's actually a true thing that's been proven so many times.
You can't really prove it.
I just proved it. I just proved it to you right now with physics.
It's not theoretical.
Okay, it's physically impossible for curvature to not block something from far distance. That's pretty impossible when the fact is, if there's an object in front of something that's curved, you wouldn't see it the farther you go away from it because curvature blocks from far distance.
I watched it through a telescope on the boardwalk in California on the pier, and I watched it disappear in the horizon.
Without a zoom-in camera?
It wasn't a zoom-in camera. It was a telescope that you pay to view through.
Then how come we can see? Then how come I've witnessed with my own two eyes seeing the complete opposite?
I don't know. I watched this back in 1988.
It's pretty funny then.
In what people are talking about with that whole curvature thing over the ocean is that
sea level's not called sea curve. It's called sea level.
It's basically you're looking out with your naked eye to a ship that's going over the curvature, and you lose it. So you think it goes over. You take some binoculars and you pick them up, and you can still see it again.
Well, yeah,
and then once it goes out of view with
that's impossible on curvature.
If you go from your eye to binoculars to a telescope's going to bring something in closer, so you can lose that object going over, or the ship going over the horizon once by eye, once with binoculars, and then you can bring it back with a telescope. And what people are talking about, the idea of this is that what is between your eye and that object should be the ocean, should be the actual curvature of the Earth, because
that makes no sense. That sounds really insulting because curvature still blocks and we can still see it.
Well, I didn't mean to get on this subject, guys. I mean, like I said,
I don't know. I just don't get it. It makes no sense.
It
just makes zero sense.
I want somebody.
That's all I'm saying.
Me, make me believe one way or another, because I haven't found anybody convince me anything in one way or another. You know what I mean?
Well, what I find fascinating about it is that it actually has brought a lot of people. Once you really get into the information, it has brought a lot of people over to believing in God, and I find something that is, it's positive, but it's also fascinating that a theoretical debate that just pops up like that could actually do that. So I think that
Flat Earth has won how many debates? A bunch. And Globe Earth has won how many debates? Not much.
Well, it's hard to win either way, I think. I think it's hard to win either way because you're talking about two different, not just two different ideas.
Even though you can find a bunch of Bible scripture to back us up and translate it correctly.
And goes up there and proves it to me. Either way,
there's real footage of rockets hitting the sky and crashing and exploding. Oh yeah, the Hebrew. When you read the Hebrew Bible in the book of Genesis, and Genesis is Breshit in Hebrew. When you read the complete Jewish Bible in Genesis 1:6, it says that the earth has a dome. The word dome is in there in the Hebrew text. You can look it up. It's so true.
Yeah.
So the earth does have a dome because the Bible says the Hebrew text translated to dome to make it true.
You
The
know,
Earth has a dome.
what if when the Mandela effect occurred, and you know how we know that the sky, the stars have changed, and they say that we're no longer on the Sagittarius arm, and now we're on the Orion spur. Well, what if originally we were on a spherical Earth and we were hijacked to this place that's enclosed and more controlled, that does have a dome and is flat because it's a fake place? You know, what if that's the case? I mean, think about it. It could be true. We could have been hijacked.
This is Satan's world, so that does make sense.
I'm just saying we could have been hijacked from our home, which was spherical, where they did go to the moon, yada yada, you know. And that's how they're making excuses now, saying, "Oh, well, we lost, all the information, all the technology." Well, I mean, what if that's the case? I mean, so many things we've watched change with this Mandela effect. We've watched products. We've watched Bible. Those that support the Bible changes.
Yeah.
We watch geography. I mean, everything around people, our family members, personal image. Like me, I had a toenail removed, and then I woke up one morning with a whole brand new toenail. And I had my toenail removed when I was like 20 years old, and now I'll be 50, in a couple weeks. And that toenail did not grow back. I had it permanently removed because I dropped a cast iron skillet on it when I was 3 years old, and it was ingrown and very painful. And I woke up about a year and a half ago, and Salted Cedar was the first person I told, and with a whole new toenail. It freaked me out. And by the way, Cowboy, I have found proof of that toenail that was missing. I was watching a video today, and I happened to go down where the cats were, and it shows my toenail being gone. Because Dan was asking me for proof like I was lying. I've got proof now. Because Dan was like, "You have proof, Can you show where your toenail?" I'm like, "Ew, no, that's gross." But actually, I did.
My question was your toenail flat or round?
It was flat, but kind of round. Kind of in between.
That's a safe answer. That's a safe answer here.
Yeah. It was kind of in the middle. Kind of like how my opinion is. I'm just in the middle. But have you guys ever heard before about Enoch? Possibly could have been the one who built the pyramids.
No, I heard about Thoth.
No.
Okay. Well, see, Enoch had a different name. I'm trying to think of what his name was. The Egyptians called him by a different name other than Enoch. But the way it goes, I mean, they didn't have the technology that, it didn't support that kind of technology for the Egyptians to have done it. But a pre-flood situation.
Are you kidding me? The Egyptians had a bunch of time travel technology.
Okay, but
by using electricity.
Was destroyed by the flood, though. I mean, it took them a while to gain back that technology.
That was after the flood. Yes, the flood got rid of it.
The pre-Adamites, and the pre-flood people, they were highly intelligent, because of them being mixed with the angels.
Yes, they were.
Way more, So, I don't know. That's just something that I had come across not too long ago, and I wanted to throw that up with everybody and see what you thought about it.
Yeah.
I had never heard of that. I saw some compelling stuff that says the pyramids could have actually been poured structure, poured concrete. Because the strata in that area in Egypt isn't, there's certain lines in the stone called reeds where the stone would naturally break.
Right.
And it would be really difficult to form a block out of that because it's in a random spot horizontally. And also it's actually, they're actually 10% lighter than solid stone would be. And the same goes for cinder block. I'm a stonemason, and cinder block is 10% lighter than most solid stones would be as well. So I think that there's a lot of things that are just being ignored and held in. The truth about the pyramids are held in by antiquities in Egypt, and it comes down to one or two people that are the head of antiquities.
Yeah, wouldn't it be awesome?
Name is Zechariah.
Hey, we can't forget about the fallen angels when they fell and became false gods too, and they had a bunch of technology and stuff.
Enoch's library underneath those pyramids,
Oh, I believe that.
God, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. I think it is in there too. I think it is.
It was Herodotus. who had that knowledge on Enoch and those in the library, and they didn't believe him either when he talked about that clear lake being at the very bottom of the pyramid either. And I think, what was it, 500 years later, they actually went down there and they found the actual clear lake down there with the sarcophagus in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The pyramids were amazingly built by the ancient Egyptians when Enoch helped to build it.
You know,
I honestly believe they could be pre-flood.
Honey, Jesse made a great point, and I think I agree with him. It wasn't Enoch. You're talking about Gilgamesh.
No, I am talking about
Gilgamesh.
Enoch,
was the one who wrestled with lions.
sweetie.
Yeah,
it was Enoch. It was Enoch. He was the seventh patriarch.
I think Gilgamesh was Sumerian. Was Gilgamesh Sumerian? Cowboy, was Gilgamesh Sumerian or what?
They called Enoch Saurid. Mm-hmm. Okay, the Egyptians had the name for Enoch. They called him Saurid.
Saurid?
Yes, Saurid. That's what they called Enoch. Because, different people had different names in different cultures. But Saurid is what they called him. And he was the great builder of the pyramids, is what they say. They said Enoch he was taught by the angels. Yep.
That could be.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep. Hence his. I wrote this down. I'm looking right now. It says.
Hey, well, guys, listen, before you get into that, honey, and I gotta head out of here and go to sleep. So I'm on the East Coast, and
I gotta go.
Oh man! All right, love you guys.
I gotta get my bath going. Go ahead. I enjoyed the visit.
Yeah. You guys, stay on as long as you want. Cowboy's probably taking a union break right now or something. He'll be back.
I'm here.
I won't let him go.
Awesome.
Anytime I'm in a chat,
I'm gonna do the same.
I'm a stream whore. I love to chat.
Well, you and Cowboy have that in common then.
I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna go ahead and bow out too, because it's getting late here and I'm tired.
All right, Prime.
All right, guys.
Tony, my brother. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Just to reiterate before you guys go, Stone and Prime, we're going to have 2 shows a week, one on Bigfoot aliens and one on the Gateway Project.
Yeah.
So it's going to be starting up here probably maybe this weekend. We'll get our first one in. So watch out for that. It's going to be a series. It's going to be pretty cool. So.
Oh, yeah, man. Definitely. I got some.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Cowboy.
Aren't we glad Cowboy's back? Woohoo!
Back in the saddle, baby.
Back in the saddle. I have a timeout.
Yeah, boy.
Yeehaw!
Better be good this time, Cowboy.
Yeah, I need to talk to K-Small to see how I can present things without
K-Smalls is awesome.
See how you can present things what?
To present things without getting in trouble.
Oh, well, I know that if you speed it up or slow it down, you can't they won't catch it. The AI will not catch it. You know what I mean? If you speed up the voice or slow it down, it gets by them, because I've seen other people do it and talk about it. But don't take my word for it. But I've heard other people discuss it and say that's how they're able to do it. You just. Yeah.
So,
all right, Cowboy, take care, man.
All right, love you, brother.
Take it easy, brother. I love you, man.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Peace. Love you, Darkstone. Love you, honey.
Love you, brother.
Mike W is gonna bail too. Good night, Mike, brother.
Good night, Peanut.
Actually, Mike W is actually gonna go live. Is it Thursday at 5, Mike?
Oh, nice.
Cool. I'm subscribed to him, so I'll get the notification. I'll be able to watch.
Right on.
I didn't even know who I was on here. I didn't know. So it was Kryptonian and Stonebender and Mike and.
No, it was Kryptonian, Stone, me, you, and Floyd.
Okay. I didn't mean to get off the Mandela effect on that other rant.
Okay. And hey, everybody, we're not leaving. A few people are leaving, but if y'all, if you guys all got to go, that's all right.
No, I was just saying what I said because I want to learn. I want somebody, instead of having somebody yell at me, I want somebody to teach me.
Yeah.
People get pretty heated over that flat Earth, round Earth thing. You know, I'm willing to learn.
Well, I went into it like that. I went into it with the
very open-minded.
I thought it was crazy.
I laughed at flat Earth at first. I called it crazy.
No, I
tried to debunk it, and I never did. I always failed.
Cowboy.
Because the definition of water debunks globe. The definition of horizon debunks globe. The definition of sea debunks globe. Everything could debunk globe if you think about it.
H2O are two different things, right? Humans are made up of mainly water, not H2O. H2O is what's in the ground. They're different, and then we've been lied to about that too.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, but Cowboy, what were you saying? You said you went into it with an open mind, and what?
I went into it because when I first heard about it, I was like, even though I was in so many different rabbit holes, I was like, this is. It took me a while. I was like, that's crazy. That's bullshit. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go. And I went into it, and the conversations people were having back and forth, I was just asking questions. And they kept asking me, what are you? And I'm like, I'm here to learn. You tell me. You give me points of view, and I'm asking questions that I don't understand how Earth can be flat based off of this. Right. Or how it can be flat based off of this. Right. Give me your answers, and I'll make my own opinion. I'm not going to just listen.
Enlighten me, please.
I'm not here to learn. I'm not here just to listen to what you guys have to say and then agree with the majority. I'm going to look into it and figure it out and what makes more sense. Well, at the end of it, it makes more sense, especially biblically, on top of that, that it's not a spinning ball through the universe.
No, I don't even feel. It's funny how we don't feel the movement. Wouldn't we feel the movement? Because if you go fast in a car, you're going to feel it.
Well, if that's something that you've known your entire life, how would you feel it whenever that's all you've known?
How can we believe something that we've been told all of our lives?
Well, most of us do. We're trying to jump out of that. We're trying to jump out of that frame of mind. We're trying to, learn. Those of us that seek knowledge, like me, I'm a knowledge seeker. I'm always hungry to learn. If you keep your mind learning every day, you don't get too old and die of dementia. That's what I was taught. Keep your brain fresh.
Yeah, it's almost got to the point where, when I first was into, trying to look into it, that I could make arguments for both sides.
Yeah.
And now I look at it like I have a hard time understanding the global spinning part of it. So I don't know.
It's hard to believe the globe Earth. It's really hard. I can't believe it anymore.
Excuse me. Well, like whoever it was that was saying, if it was Stonebender or Kryptonian, I mean, for me, it really doesn't matter either way. It's not going to change anything for me. I don't understand why people are so affected because they've been lied to when we've been lied to about every damn thing. This is just one more stepping stone, in the pot of lies,
Yeah.
We've been lied to about every damn thing, and there's so much truth out there that's being, concealed from us now.
I would say the other thing that confuses me is if people that believe in the globe spinning and going through space and all that, okay, why do they get so upset at people that
right?
We have no movement in anything. We are shut down everywhere, from NASA to movies. I mean, we have no foothold. It always boggles my mind why people that are not flat earthers or global earthers
most of them get pretty heated.
That see the flat earth. Like, why get so mad at us? Because we're just little tiny people with a notion that goes against every scientist that we know, every
We're just peons wanting to learn.
every NASA, it goes against all of that. So we don't have a foothold at all. So what does it matter? We're nobody. We're nobody. We're just look. So what does it matter if we? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen both sides get heated up real quick. You have the nicest people in the world, and boy, you throw that topic out there, politics and flat Earth. Ooh, Lord, people lose their shit. I just sit back and laugh.
We have somebody here in the chat room. Well, geez, I'm so sorry if I screw your name up, brother. Sequitur Show. He has a $10,000 reward for anybody that can prove the Earth is flat. Now, I would say on top
that'll
of that,
be easy.
You could probably say there's a $10,000 reward for anybody to prove the Earth is a spinning ball, because all we have are fake pictures from NASA.
Not just NASA, all the space programs.
Fish-eyed Photoshop.
Absolutely prove it one way or another. Because if you look at physics in the math, in equations, they kind of can go both ways on the matter.
Well, I keep thinking, well, maybe it is flat, but then it's got a sphere.
Not
maybe the
real
firmament,
physics.
maybe
Real
above
physics
above the firmament is a dome. You know, I don't know.
The firmament is a dome. It's the firm sky.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
When you translate firm sky into Hebrews, rakia, firm sky.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to get on here and debate with you, but I don't want to. My first show back on have a if it can't be a debate, I don't
like I said, I don't want to debate shit because I don't really care. I just threw out there, the question I have about things. I really don't care to prove anything. I said what I felt. I just feel like, the 2D versus the 3D. That's the way I was taught, and that may be a deception too.
But yeah, I mean, I've always set my channel up as one that there is no really right or wrong. Everybody sees things differently, and it's okay to come in with a different opinion. And even like Jason McFall, right? Like he's always on. He's a global, right?
So so's E-Man.
Right, an E-Man. So I don't know. You have
Floyd is a lot younger than me. Floyd's younger than my own children. My grandchildren are almost Floyd's age. So, I mean, the way we think is a little bit different, but I respect Floyd. I love Floyd. And that, nothing he can say would ever change the way I feel about him. I love him and I respect him because he's precious. We can all have different views and still love one another and respect one another.
Yeah, this whole flat Earth thing.
I think that's just one more way to separate everybody. One more way the satanic system is using it for separation of the people. Honestly, think about it.
Here's the thing. That's just one rabbit hole. I mean, there's so many different rabbit holes that you can go down that people can debate on. That's
it's pretty funny how the Bible says the earth is God's footstool.
Cowboy, are you the master
stool
debater?
Is not a sphere.
Yes, I am.
Cowboy, are you the master debater?
I am.
Honey Ann.
Hey, you gotta get some laughter in there somewhere. Oh Lord, I'm sorry, my bad. I need to repent for that.
I thought you meant arguing. No.
Yeah, the master debater. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
So I take it. That the non. What? See. Sequitur show. I take it that you don't believe in God either, right? Am I right on that? Am I reading that right?
Somebody's getting real body. I can't hear you.
I was asking the non sequitur show if he was a believer. Okay, so he's a non-believer. All right, so that's right. So what do you believe in? What are your thoughts? I mean, are we monkeys? Are we how did we get here? I mean, just what are your thoughts on
how
that?
come we have the rhesus factor? That's what I want to know. Why do we have the rhesus factor? Why is there RH negative and RH positive, you know?
Well, yeah, I don't think that flat Earth really has anything to do whether you believe in God or not. I think that's like a whole different rabbit.
Yeah, that's different.
You know,
that's a whole different ball game.
Oh, okay.
Hey, better.
We are monkeys and apes. Evolution is demonstrable fact. Okay, so
the Bible don't teach that.
Well, okay. Well, if you're talking to somebody that doesn't believe in the Bible, then that.
Yeah.
But boy, that's a debate right there. That we come from that.
Yeah, that's a debate.
That's a robot thing. Boy.
There's an argument right there. That's a deep one.
What?
I mean, I don't understand that concept. That is to believe that we came from an animal that's still here.
No,
we were created in God's image.
God is not an animal.
We were created in God's image. But then again, if you go back and look at the Sumerian, text, you see that the Bible is only one tiny little smidget of Sumerian history, and the Sumerian is word for word almost to our Bible, and that says that we were created by aliens. You know, they took the androgynous beings that were here on this planet, and they combined them with their own DNA, and that's how they came up with us. But it took a whole lot of tries to get us right. So, I think that's just one more deception. I don't know. It's very upsetting. When I learned about everything about the Sumerian history, it upset me really a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
It didn't change my belief in a divine creator, which, who created the Anunnakians, they admit they have a God too, so regardless, there's still going to be a creator, and then Jesus was sent, to straighten things out. So
yes, he was.
So regardless of what the real truth is, it is what it is.
Yeah, I just can't wrap my mind around the evolution part of it. I just have a hard time.
I can't either.
Well, if there's anything that's even close to evolution, it's going to be what I just stated. If we were created by an alien race, then what their records say is that they took the hominid being, whatever it was that was here on the planet, which kind of looked like a Bigfoot, and they combined their own DNA with the being that was here on the planet. So we didn't even have from their history, we didn't even have the ability to speak. We didn't even have a voice box, that was given to us. That all goes back to the Enlil and Enki thing.
Yeah.
So I just, it just makes me think, if there's going to be something they're going to roll out and say, well, these are the gods, that's the case they're going to base it on right there.
Well, I mean,
Which Cowboy, I never heard of the Anunnaki before about 2012. That just popped up in my reality.
People, I just, I respect everybody's opinion. I don't push my opinion as fact because my opinion is faith-based, not necessarily fact-based.
I'm faith-based as well.
When we look at these other avenues, such as evolution, they use terms as fact-based, right? He's using that term based off of what scientists say. So here's a joke I like to
the word is pseudo-scientist.
That was the word, yeah.
Yeah. I know what evolution means.
Well, I don't believe we evolved from monkeys because there's still monkeys here, like you said. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, where's the proof? That's what I want. That's what I want to say. Where's the proof?
How come the monkeys haven't evolved? Hello.
Exactly. Where's the proof?
Of course you can. Do in a lab. This is where you get into a deeper subject of the Nephilim bloodline, and the fallen angels who stood right next to God and seen him create, and that came down and tampered with the bloodline and created
their own beings.
That wasn't of God. Right. So you could prove it.
That's the thing about it. That's the thing about the Nephilim, though. The Nephilim are not creators like God. They are just copiers.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Only God creates.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you have, here's the thing. If you came from apes and monkeys, okay, why are there still apes and monkeys?
Why haven't they evolved?
Exactly.
They didn't evolve. What happened to them?
They would have to evolve too.
Well, like I said, that's a lie. We've been lied to about everything, and they started pushing that crap in history. Just like I believe they probably covered up this whole Tartarian thing, the mud flood and all that crap. I think we've been lied to about the history as far as the timeline goes.
Yep,
that's what I'm starting to lean towards, guys.
And and it's okay that you don't. I get where he's coming from, but you got to understand that, like, for some of us that are believers in Christ, and
I'm not a believer. I'm a knower. Knower is more powerful to say.
We kind of look at you like, how are you, talking about this like calculus and math? We look at it the same way. But hey, it's okay to be here and disagree, but be respectful with your comments.
Yeah.
Right. That's all I ask. Like you could debate all you want and bring your point. Just be respectful and that's all I ask. Like you can bring your point across.
Listen.
Agree with you.
But the last couple of minutes of Aleister Crowley's life, his daughter was sitting there with him as he was dying. And when he was leaving his body, as he was dying, he said, "Oh my God, I didn't know. And here he is pushing, Satanism and all this other stuff. And he didn't believe in God, and he didn't believe in all this. He believed in the negative, but not the positive. And when he was dying, leaving his body, he literally saw the other side and said, "Oh my God, I just didn't know." Can you imagine? Can you imagine not believing? Mm-hmm. It doesn't take much to have faith, and just to have that little mustard seed of faith and believe in our divine creator. But to use all that energy to not believe and then be wrong when you pass, and know you're going to be dead and destroyed forever, as opposed to living forever. That's just, I don't see how people would want to take that chance.
Yeah.
I always the whole evidence part of it. This is my answer to that. Unless you actually give yourself to Christ and take that walk, you'll never know. I can't explain it to you. You could sit there and use all their scientific lies and math problems that they created and that they wrote out and all the fake pictures they do and come up with all this, but really you don't know because you're just going off of what they're telling you. Exactly. What I'm telling you is that when you walk with Christ, okay, and you give yourself to Christ, there is no actually solid thing that's going to stand in front of you, but it's going to change your life, and you'll know. I can't explain it to you. I could tell you. You won't understand it though unless you actually do it.
He lives inside you. He walks beside you always.
Yep.
It's an awesome thing to know that you're in his arms and you're protected.
Yeah, and so I always challenge people, like, what do you have to lose? Try it. See what happens if you give yourself to Christ. I mean, why are you afraid that you might find out that?
Is it pride that stands in the way? Because pride will send you straight to hell, you know?
I mean, think about that. So, I've said 100 times and over, it's like trying to explain the color blue to a blind person.
Explain to me how come whenever a Christian starts talking about God, non-believers get so fucking angry. Explain to me why.
Exactly.
Why? Why is there such anger? Why is there such hatred towards Christians when we never harm anybody? All we do is love and respect one another.
Exactly.
And if you're not being respected or loved by somebody who claims to be a follower of God or Christ, they're not real. They're fake. Because a lot of people have been turned off by lukewarm believers, or fake believers who go play out the motions in church on Sunday, but they don't feel shit.
Exactly.
I mean, that's all I've ever gotten is anger.
And science is the biggest religion out there. I mean, in my opinion. So, and Christians. I mean, you might be new to us, but we don't label ourselves as any
I'm not a Christian.
Religion. We are.
I'm not worthy to be called a Christian.
We're just followers of Christ. All religions are doctrines underneath deception and misleading in some way.
I'm whiskey in a honey jar. You hear me? I'm whiskey in a honey jar. You got to watch out. That's okay. I know I'm chosen. I know that I've been chosen. I know that I'm loved. I know that I'm loved.
Exactly. God chooses his people.
Yep, that's true. Like I always say, God doesn't make bad people or good people. God just makes people, and it's our choice, free will.
Yep.
Very interesting night. Hey, non-sequitur show. How did you come across the stream? I haven't been up for 90 days, and obviously my title has nothing to do with anything that
I came in and hijacked his whole stream. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm a stream whore.
Oh, man.
It's true. I'm missing Cupcakes though. Where's she at?
Have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I sent her the link. I sent her the link.
Oh, did you see her road trip today to the Amish country? It was beautiful.
Mm-mm.
Oh, you're gonna have to watch that video. It was so pretty. I mean, the Amish buildings, they were really neat. It was really neat.
Okay, so what I get is that you go to other people's streams to look for people to debate on your stream, or are you looking for people that agree with you, or just mainly debate with you?
You got a master debater right here. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. Whoops, my bad. Oh, life is good.
Yeah. No, I've never seen your show. I've never even heard of you till tonight. So I don't know. I guess I would never go to an atheist stream or a non-believer evolution round ball earth stream. It's not something I would go look for. Well, that's up to them. Everybody can go wherever they want to go.
Free will, baby. Free will. I go where my cowboy goes. Yeehaw. How now, brown cow?
How now? Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Yeah, I'm part Indian. You watch out, because my grandpa was a slap-a-hoe. Chief slap-a-hole. Chief slap-a-hole.
I thought you said Arapaho. That's a type of Indian tribe.
Nope, I said slap-a-hoe.
Slap-a-hoe.
He was chief slap-a-hoe.
Here's a question for non sequitur. I swear to God, I wish I could figure out how to say his name. Sequitur, non sequitur. Do you know anything about the Mandela effect? Have you heard about the Mandela effect before?
Oh, shoot. Riddle me this.
Non-sequitur. Non-sequitur. Okay. Non-sequitur.
What does that mean?
You heard about the Mandela effect before?
What does that mean? Call me illiterate, but what does that mean?
What his name? I don't know.
Non sequitur.
Okay, so he knows what it is, and he's done shows.
I lost you guys. Cut out on me.
So he's actually done shows debunking the Mandela effect.
Well, there's proof on it, and there's witnesses on it. So you're gonna insult witnesses. Good luck.
What? Y'all got robotic on me, so I've lost everything.
So what we have here is non-sequitur that came into a claim that is completely opposite of everything we are. How interesting is that? That doesn't happen every day.
No, it don't. That's pretty odd.
Quite interesting. So you debunked the Mandela effect. How did you?
How?
Yeah.
Then why? Then non sequitur. How come everything is happening right in front of us? That's a good question. I think I just debunked what non sequitur believes. How come everything around us is changing? That's my good question.
Oh, we got trouble in the house now. This is going to get really nasty.
E-Man. Yeah, don't debate with E-Man. E-Man will make the Mandela effect non-believers look stupid.
Yeah, man. See, the thing, I was looking at a video, like I was saying yesterday. I don't like. I mean, it's fine, because each his own. But because this is very important, wishy-washy folks that leans towards saying it's just a misremembering, they do the community unjust, because yes, they report on it, but it's almost like the Bible says that he gives you path of his own heart to feed you knowledge and understanding. And if you're following a certain person and listening to what they're saying, you begin to pick up their maybe their sentiments or their ways. I mean, that's why people like I told, I don't want to say a name, but start with a W. That came in the Mandela Effect when I came in, and she was one of the top people. And then she flipped script, and I told her, I say, because of your definitively knew it was right and it was this way, and you would bank on it. How many years you taught Sunday school and all that? You're not the one to do the debunking now because you was on the other side. You know, who would believe anything you say if you were so sure in the beginning that it was real, and now you being paid off or got a job or a different promotion or threatened or something, whatever happened, make you change your whole perspective. You're not the one to bring out the that we crazy because you was on the crazy child before. Hello?
Yeah, well, we'll keep going, brother.
We're still here, bro.
And so, you know, and I went on her show and I tried to explain the same exact sentiment. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't like to put people on blast like that, but start with a W. And I just told her, you know, you ain't the one. Huh?
We know who that is.
It's windy out there. It's
the preacher. I'm confused.
Hey, did y'all hear about Wendy Williams?
Who?
Hospitalized.
It says windy outside.
Yeah, Wendy Williams is hospitalized, by the way. Okay, I'll shut up.
Hey, do you have your YouTube muted, E-Man? We're getting some feedback.
I ain't got YouTube up.
Oh, okay.
I just answered your invitation. Did you finally on?
Yeah, I'm back up. What are you talking about?
Yeah, buddy.
What?
Yeah, the man with the plan with the boy. I call you the rabbit hole pro.
If there's a hole with a rabbit in it, I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, I was on a brother show earlier. I don't know who he is. He know who I am. But I check out everybody's channel all the time, and it was his brother. He was boy, he a cusser. Oh, he loved to cuss. He would eat some spaghetti and meatballs, and he was surprised. I guess they were surprised I was over there. I just tell him, if you said Mandela effect, you know, I can make it with anything. And he was asking me, I'm the black dude. I said no, I'm the red dude. I got red blood cells. That's all.
Oh shit!
And so yeah, I was like, man, he was like, yeah, you cool. I was like, yeah. I said, you know, I mingle with everybody. You know, I'm not an exclusive person. You know, I tell Cowboy that all the time. You know?
That's hilarious. Yeah, we had a guy in here that he is has a channel. He offers $10,000 for flat Earth proof, and he believes in evolution. You're right. When you came in, he bailed, unfortunately, which is unfortunate because I thought that would have been very interesting.
Well, you know, the evolution part, you know, the thing, this is my whole sentiment about the Big Bang, evolution, and all that other bullcrap. The Big Bang could have happened, but God's the one that caused the Big Bang. So because you got a theory and say, yeah, these particles Yeah, when God said, "Let there be light," something might have smashed together. So, and
No,
so
right.
now the evolution, and I know, we differ on this, Cowboy, but I believe everything that God created has His imprint on it somehow. May not be direct duplicates or
Mute your YouTube, Candy.
Oh, Candid is in the house. What's up, sister?
Hey, Cupcake.
How you doing? It's about time you have your channel back up.
Love you, Cece.
I like that
Love you more.
earlier.
You know, E-Man, I actually agree with you on that. Actually, I've actually said that before. Like within, you know, I always said that. Like within all lies is some truth. And if Satan stood right next to God and watched it create, what is the biggest lie against God is the Big Bang Theory that goes with evolution. So
and globe Earth.
God said He created, but He didn't say how. So maybe
right, he didn't say when He said it. Did the rocks bang together? Did the atoms smash together? He didn't give you an Onions manual. He didn't say, okay, this is the beginning and this is how it was. If you show me that, then you own something. And just like I was telling I think the animals was created before us, and so maybe in God's wisdom, he before He created us and before He made man, He said, I want an animal that has some of my features, but just don't have my intellect. And then He made a monkey, but a monkey wasn't him. A monkey just had some of his similarities. And then He said, you know what? I want to just go ahead and stop playing and go ahead and make this man and make sure he in my image all the way. Because, and the thing about the evolution part that I disagree with is if we was evolved by a monkey or whatever, monkeys wouldn't exist. How could you say evolution if monkeys still here? That means the monkeys going to evolve again.
We have a barrier here for you, though.
It's almost
like you're coming at when God created, the earth first, the animals that okay.
The flat Earth.
Well, okay. I'm saying Earth. It could be either. I don't care either way. I don't care. I don't care. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not me. I'm more enclosed in the more important topics and subjects at hand. Okay. And then let that fall into place afterwards. Wait, here's your little gap, though. Okay, when it comes to your Genesis, and you were speaking about apes. Okay. Well, Adam and Eve. Now, are you saying that they were apes? They were able to.
No. What I'm saying.
They were able to have. They were able to have knowledge of sin.
What I'm saying is that God maybe wanted to put His imprint on everything. If you want to know, everything has some kind of similarity. You got animals that got a coonanny that look just like yours, or you got a animal that got a dangling just like a man. Are they a man? No, they have similarities. And so, just happenstance that an ape has a lot of our similarities, but they're not us. They have hair everywhere, just like we got. You got some people that look. You got some people that I've
seen. Yeah, but you have all the animals and even plants and trees that have feelings like we do.
And so I went to school with some people that looked just like apes.
Oh man,
we're not talking physical features. We're talking,
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing: is that cats have a lot of the same features that dogs have. Right? I mean, so I don't know.
Let's go deeper when it comes to feelings and knowledge. foresight.
What I'm saying is, if you be real with it, you look at ape and you look at an African. Well, I hate to say it, but you look at ape, and then you look at our features and their features. We have more similarity than dissimilarity. I mean, they don't have a tail. Monkeys have tails, but apes don't have a tail. Apes have a booty and big old booty. They have dangling. They got the eyes. They got the nose in the same position that we have us. They just don't. They walk different, and so they have the same toes and fingers. And
but they still exist.
Yeah, and so it's not, and that's why I say, maybe God in His wisdom, He was like, you know what, I want an animal that represent me, look like me too, but now I want somebody exactly like me. So I'm gonna make this man, and I'm gonna differentiate the two between the ape and the man. The
okay.
ape,
I see what you're saying now. Okay.
And so
I see what he's saying
made
too.
He made an imprint and said, well, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and make a man that I don't want just a similarity. I want somebody just like me. So I'm gonna make him in my image and my likeness. See, the ape could have just been
God's not one to have to do trial and error though. Either. You know what I mean?
I mean, it was
trial and error. He know what he knows. He's all.
Well, it was trial and error. And the only reason I know it was trial and error. The reason why I know it was trial and error because the first people that was made wasn't Adam and Eve. And that's why he had to destroy the world. He wasn't going. If it wasn't for Noah, we wouldn't even be here. And so he was going to scrap the whole thing. Because Noah found favor in God's eyesight. We always go back to Adam and Eve, but if you really want to know, we are offsprings of Noah and his favor. Adam and Eve was gone. All of that stuff was gone because he had to destroy them first humans that was here before Adam. And so, like I say, it's just like when they have prototypes of cell phones. They know what the vision is, and test different prototypes until they get the right one they want. And so, not saying he made a mistake, he just made modifications. And like I say, when it says his image and his likeness, see, we got his image and his likeness. See, the ape might just have the image, but not his likeness. And so, like I said, it's just an imprint. It's just him saying that I want to do the same thing as a human that I do want to do as an animal. I want to put my imprint and say, yes, this is me. I created this. And so that's why. And if you're going to fall on the ship of evolution, then God would have said, okay, I'm going to make humans just like I do butterflies. I'm going to make them start as apes, and then we're going to put them in a cocoon and put a human. You see what I'm saying? If he wanted to do that.
Yeah, this is my thought on the whole why the whole push for the evolution thing is because, with the caveman and everything, they want us to think that
the cavemen were intelligent.
We were like idiots and we were dumb, and over time we got smarter. When the fact is actually before the floods, we were more aware of this cosmos world and Satan's domain than we are now.
Exactly.
They seen more. Now it was like redo, and now Satan has actually dumbed it down. We actually have become more unaware of really what's going on around this world than people that lived back before the flood. Because they were prominently talking about showing their abilities as the Nephilim bloodline as the leaders and showing what they could do and get with their knowledge. And that's why all those people back then were massive slaves to them. Now we're slaves in a dumber way, the way we go to work every day and do what we do. But we have no idea, and they're hidden now. They're much less prevalent to us, and we're actually less knowledgeable in the truth that is a society. And now I'm not saying here amongst a lot of you that know, but in the whole of society, much less unaware of really where we live at, who's in control of this earth, and what they're doing, and they're using all the money and technology to do everything they can to continue to survive against God's word. And we just are just here doing what? Feeding into that for them?
Now watch.
Go out here and talk against it? What,
Now watch this. I believe it's half and half, and I'm gonna tell you why I believe it's half and half. The people that God created before He had Adam and Eve, they had no order. They had no boundaries. They had no thing that was information that was hidden from them. It was like you said, it was a different bloodline. It was a different breed of, I don't say animals, but there was a different breed of humanity. It wasn't the same. Once God created Adam and Eve, He made them blank. He made Adam and Eve blank. He put the information in the garden, which was the tree of knowledge, but He made them blank. And when they ate off the tree, they maybe didn't get all the essence of everything. That's why He kicked them out, because He didn't want them to know everything. And so they were maybe less knowledgeable than the first pair. Not saying that they was in a cave and all that, but they lived in that kind of situation back then. There wasn't no houses and all that. They lived in nature. And so they were less sophisticated than the one before them. But then they intermingled, and then they learned the weight of the first people that was there after them, before them. And that's why God had to take everybody out, because that's information that it was too much of power and authority and not enough boundaries. And so that's when God, after the flood, put a prohibitor in our brain to cut off some of our receptors. Some people can access more than others, but as a whole, He cut the cord. He snipped it a little bit, where we won't have access to everything that we used to have access to, because we used to be able to see angels. We used to be able to walk and sleep with angels and the giants. He prohibited that. And what's happening now with this Mandela effect and with this AI and with the technology, we're going backwards. We're going back to where we was prohibited. And that's why information is increasing exponentially, because our thoughts and our boundaries, or the cap or the prohibitor, has been broken. And now we're moving exponential again. And now, just like the Bible says, we are beginning to think we're gods. We're beginning to act like gods, because in the beginning, that's what we were. We was His juniors. If you created by an entity in His image and His likeness, you're just a copy of Him. So you are a form of a god, because you came.
Exactly.
You came.
Elohim.
And so you may be not the God, but you're a little God. You're the offspring. And so now, because of the information or the boundaries has been broken, we're going back to them ways. But the difference between then and now we want to X God out the way. Like He wasn't the one that gave us this ability anyway. We want to think we inherited on our own doing in our own manner, when it was already there. It was just a blockage from being accessed so supernaturally fast.
Yeah, I don't. We've talked about this before. I don't understand the anything where there's two Adam and Eves. I don't get that. I don't follow that.
Well, it wasn't two Adam and Eve.
I'm not saying, look, hey, E-Man, I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just not something that maybe I should know, or God or the Holy Spirit's given to me. All I know is that where I'm at, it's not for me to know at this point, or definitely not agree with. That's all I can say. I don't understand that, but I certainly, respect your opinion on that.
You ain't got to go to that link. You know, we got differences. That's what makes us human. We can think.
But I mean, nothing surprises me anymore. I mean, like, I grew up with, Noah made the ark, right? And because God flooded the earth because humans were bad. Now, I would never have thought that it came down to, it wasn't just humans. It was because with the Nephilim bloodline, the Nephilims were, and the fallen angels were doing God's creation.
That's what I don't understand. You believe in the Nephilim bloodline, and that's what I was just telling you about. That's what I was talking about. That's the people that was before Adam and Eve, the Nephilim bloodline. That's the one that. So we talk about the same thing. You just expressing it as
here's the thing, though. I guess this is why I'm confused, because from what I understand, the Nephilim bloodline are the fallen angels that produced with the humans. So therefore, the Nephilim bloodline came after Adam and Eve, not before Adam and Eve.
Well, that's just what they call that. That's just because they intermingled. But beforehand, it's a difference with fallen angels, because it was the fallen angels, or the angels in general, did mess with humans, and so you would get a hybrid. And so if that's what you call in the hybrid is Nephilim, that's correct. The disconnect is the Nephilim is maybe the first creation, because Genesis says it. He said he created male and female. He created them, and he told them to be fruitful and multiply. And this is way before Genesis 3. And so it's right there. It don't say what their name was. They didn't have a name. It wasn't no titles. It didn't need no name at that particular time. And the only reason I think he made Adam and Eve, because he wanted to start off from scratch. And he probably would have gave them the information he wanted to give them, but the enemy wanted them to be like the ones that was made before them. And so that's why he came into the garden and told them, look, check this out. It's some information that you've been blocked from. And this information, because see, you can't have a tree of good and evil and knowledge if good and evil and knowledge don't exist. How could you know something that ain't already? How could you have a tree of something, of a knowledge of something that don't exist? They just was like a computer with no program. They had the hardware, they had all the inklings, but didn't have no software. Didn't have the information to run the hardware. It was just perfect hardware. And they was just blank. They were just like a shell of a computer. They had all the O's and I's and all that, but couldn't run nothing because they didn't have no information to go on.
Interesting.
I agree.
You always get deeper than me. Amen on that.
Amen. Good news, bro.
What happens is God has given me the ability to what they call that give examples to what we go through, like what we recognize. Then when you break it down in that formula, then people can absorb it a little bit better. Some people just try to tell you the information and give me something that I can at least recognize, or something that I can equate with whatever you said. And so that's why I be coming up with these metaphors, and people like, wait a minute, where you get that from? How you twist that in there? I said, I don't know. That's what God gave me. Because you're supposed to be able to do that. I mean, if I just go and talk about the Bible and don't give people a reference point to what their life is, and that's what I was telling people yesterday, or I was telling the sister I was talking to, that the Bible is nothing but a tool. That's a tool that we're supposed to use for instruction, correction, and reproof. That's all it is. It's just a tool of history, a tool of history, a tool of instructions, and a tool of discipline. And so we're supposed to use the tool for what it is. The Bible is not to be worshipped. The Bible is not to be bowed on. It's just a tool that God allowed to be written, just like how they make the rules of the road and they put it in a book. It's a tool for that you can know how to drive and how you rules to driving. And so the Bible is the same thing. The Bible is a rule to salvation and how to be a Christian and how other Christians went through. And so you look at their example and say, well, okay, I see how they go through, so now I can go through. And so if we look at the Bible in that context as a tool that God allowed to be written, then we'll be fine. The problem is people done took the Bible and made it the God. And it's not the God. It's just an inspiration by God.
Exactly. People are too busy worshiping a book instead of Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God.
All right, well, guys, I've been going for quite a while now, 2 hours. I'm going to shut this down.
That's a shame. You're going to give me an invitation at the end?
Candy Cupcakes is going to go live, so we can all jump over there.
Totally.
You make me cry. Okay. All right, y'all.
All right, love you guys all. Go over to
Let's
CC's
go to C. Yep. CC's live stream.
I love you, Cowboy, man. You know you're the man.
Love you, Floyd. Love everybody in the
chat
room.
Love you, bro, Floyd. Yep. And love you, Candy Cupcake. Oh, where she go? All right.
I don't know what happened to her. She was on here.
She's gonna go.
I think she wanted to start her own channel.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Jump
we'll
over.
just all jump in there.
All right.
All right.
See y'all over there. Love y'all.